everyone, and welcome to the second session of today. Now, it's been a very busy first start of the day with lots of wonderful insights, a lot of wonderful speakers. Now we are moving slightly away from human-centric, but not too far away, because we'll still focus on sustainability. And sustainability is not possible without focus on humans, HRs, youth, and human capital overall. My name is Zoe Zaitseva. I'm head of partnership at QS and also head of partnership at QS World Merit Charity, international youth movement dedicated to impactful SDG projects. And it's my great honor and privilege to welcome you at the session dedicated to international cooperation, fostering engineering education and career development in nuclear sector. Now, before we start, I'd like to mention that I'm going to be a bad cop today. And when it comes down to timing, dear speakers, online and offline speakers, if you see the yellow card, it means you have 1 minute left. If you see the red card, it means your time is up. Please wrap up and finish. Now, we'll do our best to finish on time, because we also have other things coming up late in the afternoon. And probably also worth mentioning that all the materials you'll see on screen today and even beyond will be shared later on via the links following the social media streams on YouTube, Facebook, and I think on some on Rosatom website as well, everywhere where the session is being streamed. So don't worry if some of the slides our respectful speakers will skip in order to respect everybody's time and stick to the agenda. Now, one of the requests that has been shared with all the participants on this session was to focus less on the past, but more on the future. What is it that our organizations can do today in order to achieve sustainable development, in order to keep attracting young people and talent into the nuclear engineering industry, nuclear industry overall, not necessarily just engineering. And hopefully with this in mind, each of our participants will introduce their vision, share their experiences, but also share the vision for the future. And with that in mind, without no further ado, I'd like to invite Deputy Director General of Rosatom Corporation. You mentioned the VP for Human Development and Personnel, right? So, well, you've already met Tatiana earlier today, so she's joining us to set up the framework of the second session. Tatiana, welcome.
Thank you very much, dear colleagues, dear guests, and we follow very, and I'd say, crucial item about human centricity approach. And I'm pleased to open the session dedicated to the most critical topic, human-centric labor market, the growing role of youth, and our efforts to attract young, talented people to our organizations, and to ensure they have all skills needed to be productive in the work environment. Education plays a central role throughout the 2030 agenda. One of the Sustainable Development Goals aims to ensure inclusive, high-quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for everybody by 2030. This emphasizes that all stakeholders, including civil society, business, academia, and government, can recognize their responsibility. And Rosatom share these values. Rosatom's historical mission as a nuclear innovation leader is to provide our international partners with encompassing support in developing the national nuclear program. We understand our responsibility for the human capacity development strategy. Timely commissioning and safe operating is impossible without highly qualified and motivated people. Besides, we assume that the younger generation has different values, and today's higher education has to meet their demands as future professionals who will drive the industry. Rosatom is implementing a number of projects and initiatives focused on fostering the quality of engineering education in cooperation with Russian and international universities. First of all, many technological companies globally face the challenge that young people are not so much interested in nuclear and related sciences nowadays. And we are finding the solutions how to address this challenge. We start working with school children and mentor before they graduate from schools. We believe in early discovery and support of talents. That is why we have created a whole education ecosystem and use integrated approach to identify and develop talents. For the recent 10 years, we have created an educational ecosystem of Rosatom flagship universities as a part of knowledge transfer system. We support the universities in developing new, particularly oriented academic program and R&D projects in cooperation with their international partners. At the moment, over 2,000 international students study in Russian nuclear and related areas. Over 500 of them do their practical internships at Rosatom enterprises annually. Such result wouldn't be possible without our partners. Together with our partner universities, we develop practically oriented academic program and R&D projects in cooperation with their international partners. And we truly believe in power of partnership. That is why we are happy to see our colleagues from different countries here in Dubai and online. We hope that today we will discuss joint projects between academia and corporate sector that can foster the quality of engineering education and attract the most talented and creative young people into the industry. We believe that through connecting minds, we are creating the future. On behalf of Rosatom, I would like to express my gratitude to all the participants, our discussion, and I am sure that our discussion will be fruitful and effective. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now we're shifting to Europe, where we're going to look into exactly what has been just mentioned. Hello, and we've got Dr. Pedro Porras joining us. He is leading the nuclear power engineering section of the Division of Nuclear Power at IAEA. Now, what we'd like to look into is capacity building, because engaging with youth talent, engaging with universities and the Generation Z is not possible if the institutions themselves are not ready. So we know that from his background, Mr. Porras has to do with, sorry, Mike, with education, training, knowledge sharing. So let's see how human resources development is portrayed, what's the framework at the European organization. And my only request as a part of the welcome is let's stick to the promised 7 minutes, please, so that we have more time for questions and answers. And I also would like to mention for all our supporters joining us online, please feel free to submit your questions as we go along. Don't wait for the very end, and we'll do our best to cover the questions during the session. Thank you, and Mr. Porras, over to you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Dubai. Thank you very much for inviting me to this Rosatom's thematic week. My name is Pedro Porras, and I will be making a presentation trying to showcase the bridge between human resources and capacity building, and how this human-centric approach and the engineering infrastructure in the country can help to support the nuclear programs and to increase the well-being of the citizens of our country. So previously, I worked in the European Nuclear Education Network, so I was very much in touch with the universities and the networking between the universities in the nuclear industry. And also originally, I come from Technatom as an engineer, instructor, and consultant. And currently, I am the technical lead in management and capacity building in the agency in Vienna. So just a few words. I'll be very brief since we have 7 minutes. So I guess, or I hope that all of you are familiar with the International Atomic Energy Agency. It's the United Nations Scientific Forum for Cooperation in the Nuclear Field. It was founded in 1957 with headquarters in Vienna, and we have around 2,500 staff members from over 100 countries. The IAEA makes direct contributions to 9 of 17 goals through the nuclear science and technology. In particular, I would like to mention affordable and clean energy, industry, innovation and infrastructure, and the climate action. So in the agency, and also when we consider nuclear programs from member states, normally the human resources strategy in a country for nuclear, it's always embedded into a national plan, national strategic high-level socioeconomic development objectives, as we have suggested or encouraged member states in the United Nations to go for the 18 Sustainable Development Goals. The countries, they made their own strategic vision, medium to long term. Here I have on the right-hand side showcase some of them, like Egypt Vision 2030 or Uganda Vision 2040. But when it comes to the human resources strategy for nuclear, in this vision, the educational infrastructure, the existing one and the projected one, should be there, together with the educational curriculums and which leadership and training programs are foreseen. The country should see what are the skills available in the country, the vision, and how to develop these skills from now till the future, and the competition for those skills within the country and outside. And also communication planning to communicate these high-level strategic objectives to develop the human resources in the country to the population and to all the different organizations inside the country. When we go for the nuclear planning, if we are considering a nuclear program in the country, we have to consider that at least 10 to 15 years is the minimum time from the consideration to launch a program to the actual commissioning of this first nuclear power plant. So what happens during these 10, 15 years? The IAEA provides support on 19 issues that have been agreed upon and are based on international best practices and the safety standards and international law. And one of them is the human resource development. How do we support member states on developing their human resources for a nuclear program? We do it using the capacity building concept at 3 different levels. We support member states, and the member states, they have to do this strategic planning and effective implementation to develop and improve the governmental, a high level, at national level, governmental, then organizational, all the different organizations involved in the program, and the individual competencies and capabilities. All the individuals, the organizations, and a higher level, the government. All the power programs. And there are 4 main elements to work on in this umbrella approach for capacity building. Education and training, and this is, we will see in 2 minutes, that this is the key element to build the infrastructure, educational infrastructure in the country towards the proper high-level human resource development, knowledge management, and the knowledge networks, the networking of the different institutions. Seeing the program we have today and those outstanding presentations, I'm sure you will have a huge amount of excellent examples of capacity building, networking between educational institutions to foster the human resources in a country. You have to consider that this is the time frame of the life cycle of a nuclear power plant is 80 years. So it's an 80 years commitment. We can prepare for 15 years before the operation. We have to ramp up all the infrastructure, but the social and economic impact of this program in the country, it will last for generations. you have to consider that one job in the power plant, and normally we may have around 1,000 people employed in a power plant, means 25 jobs in the local community or 100 jobs at national level for an average fleet of 4 MPPs. So you have to consider the huge impact, but also the synergies, because when we create the human infrastructure ecosystem in a country, we have the regulator, the technical support organizations, the educational institutions, universities, training organizations, the international and professional organizations, and all the whole supply chain behind. And these organizations must build up their human capacity, their human capital to international standards. How these 4 pillars of actions work together. So when a country decides to build up the capacity for a nuclear program, at the beginning in this first part of the 10, 15 years of capacity building and preparation, they assess and develop, they assess the national educational infrastructure, and they start, we see at the bottom, developing partnerships and benchmarking, improving their educational infrastructure with the objective of pursuing excellence. Excellence that will last during this facility lifespan of 100 years. So education and training and networks are the main pillars of achieving excellence in the human resource development. So we'll see in the second line the 3 main nuclear organizations in a country, but you have all the supply chain, all the educational infrastructure, where universities, educational centers, and the networking of these centers with all the stakeholders, all the nuclear organizations in the country and in the partner countries will help the country to reach excellence, excellence in knowledge and in human development.
Mr. Porras, I'm very sorry, we've got 30 seconds left. If you want to prioritize something that you have from the slides, please.
Yes, so in this graph, you have the 2 pipelines and the human talent and excellence, and the key organizations that play their part: the government, the nuclear organizations, and the technical schools and the universities and colleges. So the discussion today is, or I hope it's showcase how to reach human talent and excellence in the countries. Thank you very much. So this is the support that the IAEA provides to member states, and we are willing to work with you and to cooperate with you. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And I would also strongly encourage everyone online and offline to take a note of the email currently shared. So if you have any questions on either how to join or how to take advantage of the proposed support, please do so. Just connect directly and engage. Now, our next speaker is Dr. Antonella Di Trapani, Senior Analyst for Education, Outreach and Knowledge Management at Nuclear Education Agency. And she's also head of Nuclear Education Skills and Technology Framework, otherwise known as NEST. And I hope Antonella will join us via Zoom. Oh, there she is. Hello. I must say, my first engagement with Antonella was earlier this summer during our first blended session at Rosatom, where we're bringing together universities and companies, members of Rosatom, to see how we can work better together. And I think today's session that will transfer into the presentation mode just now fantastic, thank you, will give us a good idea on the frameworks, the capacity building programs, again, to continue on them. And Antonella, if you can also mention a little bit your current status of the scholarship fellowships offered and how organizations can take advantage of them, because we all know that we've been hit by pandemic quite significantly, so it's now reviving, coming back to life. So how can we engage and what's on offer? And your 7 minutes start now. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for this invitation. Thanks, everybody from Rosatom. I'm working as Emilia said, as senior analyst in the Division of Nuclear Science and Education, which is headed by Dr. Tatiana Ivanova. And this is just because the OECD and EI recognized the huge importance education and capacity building as in providing and generating the next generation of nuclear leaders, of subject matter experts. We have enlarged lately, the NEA has enlarged lately the programs, so going from NEST to the Global Forum of Nuclear Science Education and Science and Technology and Policy. But today I'm going to stress and really remark on the importance of NEST, and maybe another time we can go through the Global Forum. So the main instrument to build up really a talent pipelines for countries, which, as you know, requires, as Pedro mentioned, requires strategic vision and involvement, requires time. It's a long-term investment for every country, given the fact nuclear energy power plants, they have a long lifespan. So we need to retrain the new generation. There's been some concerns in member countries concerning the lack of nuclear graduates, lack of skills, retirement of the workforce. So this instrument was created by the NEA to address those concerns from member countries. And currently we have 10 member countries, NEA member countries involved. They are named here. Other countries, also non-NEA member countries, are invited to join if they want. The main characteristic of the NEST, which stands for Nuclear Education, Skills and Technologies, really to build up talent pipeline of individuals through a variety of instruments you've seen here. We're bringing together access to the state-of-art facilities, which could not be possible without international cooperation from member countries, because each member country is providing, they're opening up their biggest facilities to train the next generation of nuclear professionals. This cannot be possible if without working, the young fellows, which are master, PhD, postdocs, are working on challenges, are working on what are the challenges of the member countries, what are the challenges for the nuclear energy. And they do this in cooperation both with mentors, which are the leaders in the field, in cooperation with the member countries and host countries and the sending countries. And they develop these skills through hands-on training activities, so it's really practical activities where they spend a certain amount of time. And of course, you know, without multilateral cooperation, without involving all the countries, all the organizations in those countries, we are not able to, we are able to build capacity building networks. As you know, this is the first step to develop, so transfer of knowledge is very important to create new knowledge, and without creation of knowledge, we cannot have new technologies and innovation. So as you see, everything is connected, and so that's why we're trying to bring together all these different features in the NEST program. Just to give a brief overview how it works. So we are trying to create both, to leverage both education, both hands-on training activities by making sure that the fellows work for a certain period of time, which is between 1 month and 6 months in another country where they're exposed to a new project, new challenges under the supervision of a mentor, which is the expert in the field. And once they learn practical skills, they transfer the knowledge, but once they go back to the country, they're able to address the problem of the countries in cooperation with the mentors in the host countries and the supervision of the people of the supervisor in the home country. What is most important is that we're trying to create, again, as Pedro mentioned, knowledge networks are very important. They're crucial to development of the next generation, development of capacity buildings. We are trying to develop 2 networks at this point. One is the alumni network, global alumni, where people will be connected over the long-term career of the time, so they can go back and to create connection and, you know, answer other questions and their challenges by linking them in a network. And also we are trying to create also a global nuclear network. In fact, NEST fellowship involves all organizations. We are trying to aim to bring together universities, which is where the talent pipeline is coming from, but we need to create a talent pipeline which goes from universities to regulators, to research organizations, to industries. And we're trying to build this network, and it's important that all these are connected. And we've seen now that in some projects, we're trying to building up and addressing all the different components, all of them are present. And one of the most important, where this is already achieved, is the next high-graphite project, which is the project from Rosatom led by TPU, and which will be explained later. So I'm not going much into details because I'm sure Vera Verkoturova and Marco Ricotti will explain it better than me. So at the moment, just to give you an overview, where we have 6 projects in different disciplines. You've seen here both the acronyms or the topics of each project and the leading organization, but we have in total 57 organizations, and we're going to have over 3 years' time more than 300 fellows which are going to be trained. And as soon as new projects will come in, of course, the number of fellows and organizations will increase. As I said, we are trying to bring together all partners so that in each project we will have not just universities, but research organization and industry. Industry component is very important because we have to go from the challenges, from addressing the research to application, to creating innovation. And of course, bringing those two environments will make the new generation of nuclear leaders and professionals flourish because they will address different environments, the way different environments work. So what we have so far, we started in 2019-2020 with an initial group of fellows. We had 13, but then we were badly hit by the pandemic. So unfortunately, mobility schemes could not take place because this is mostly mobility schemes of people going from one country to another country. But we had a lot of online activities. We've been now informed that pandemic is, countries are opening the border, the pandemic is becoming endemic, fellowship are open, are going to restart in 2022, so we hope to welcome lots of fellows. So where we are at the moment with the projects, you can see the projects which is already ongoing. So the MRS, which is on safety, we will have we have 5 fellows coming up from USA, Canada, and Switzerland, and Spain. And other projects are already planning activities, they're already planning fellowship. And I'm not going to details in the graphite project because Vera will go more in details, Vera and Marco will go more in details. But you can see here already there are plans to start all the activities of the fellowship in 2021. And of course, you can ask me later by mail about all these projects. So since activities have been stopped last year, we had to go online. And so we had quite a number of online activities where the fellows could really promote and express the added value and benefits in the activities, both in the hands-on training activities and the online activities. And this has been, since last year, recorded through features which are published, interviews and monthly features were published in our webpage, so in the NEST webpage, and also in the NEI monthly news. So you can go back and really understand better what's the benefit of the NEST fellowship and why this framework is really crucial to create the next talent pipeline, next generation, why cooperation is so important for the young generation at this point. They really see the benefits of going to other countries, learning from the experts, and really opening up their awareness, building up their skills, and creating new connections. What is planned so far? I'm sure some of you will mention this year. So we already have a lot of activities also planned up. So we will be present both at EXPO and the IYNC, and I know that you will mention, and Lena is present also in this session, and you mentioned that we're already planning a next session. We are going to have a series of webinars, so online activities will continue. Of course, we're trying to build up a series of online webinars together with the Global Forum, and this will be advertised soon. Also, we are planning workshop, so all the projects already started planning workshop. One to mention is one at GIF International Conference in Toronto in October, and the other one on legacy waste management and decommissioning in Aachen at the ICON conference. And we are planning also an annual event and awards in October, November 2022, that to be confirmed. But we are trying to bring together all the fellows along the year, so they all meet up in the same venue, both NEST fellows and mentors, and we are going to give us an award.
Thank you so much,
so-
Antonella. Sorry, I've already donated a couple of minutes from questions and answers. Just a quick question before we conclude on your speech. May I ask, for the institutions which are coming from the countries which are not a part of NEA yet, can they apply for the fellowships independently, or do they have to go through the process to become the members first and only then apply for the fellowships?
Okay, thanks for the question. So it's, of course, the NEST fellowship, there is a funding involved through the members countries, so who are participating in the NEST fellowship. So the funding for NEST are reserved to NEST member countries. We have a small amount of non-NEST member countries, so non-NEST member countries could participate, but with their own funding, but this is limited in the amount of people who can participate. So we are trying to really have enlarge our networks and involve as many countries as possible. NEST fellows who are not from non-NEST member countries will have limited access to all the activities, of course, because they have to participate with their own funding, but also because their participation will be reduced in each NEST fellowship.
Fantastic, thank you so much. So to all our listeners in-house and online, there is still time to join the family and apply for some of the fellowships, and there are quite a few exciting opportunities there. The dates of the events and all the slides that Antonella has kindly shared with Rosatom team will be available, and you'll be able to see them online and share with your colleagues. Thank you so much. Thank you, Antonella. Now, we've mentioned capacity building. We've mentioned that engaging with young people is key. And we also know that global partnership ecosystem, I was actually just shocked to see that it takes 80 years commitment, and 10, 15 years out of this is just the prep work. So for Rosatom, clearly this prep work, if it can be shortened, that will be a benefit, right? So the next speaker, Valery Karezin, who is head of educational projects at Rosatom Corporation. And overview, of course, as usual, but I think what will be particularly interesting is how you tackle this ecosystem approach in the countries you expand to. And I know that there was a recent shift that in the past, all the local universities were required to teach future nuclear engineers in Russia. Now there is a shift towards more universal approach. So if you can dwell on this a little bit. And then 7 minutes, and I'll ask a couple more questions. Thank you, Valery.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Zoya. Dear colleagues, thank you very much for joining us. In my presentation, I would like to say some words about Rosatom approach to human resource development for partner countries. Rosatom has a rich experience in operation of nuclear facilities in the various fields, from the uranium mining to construction and decommissioning, and nuclear medicine and gamma radiation installation and research reactor, isotope products, and so on. We are especially proud of our ability to create a nuclear power plant not only in Russia, but abroad. And our international projects are widely known. I would like to emphasize that success of the nuclear projects on the highly qualified personnel who work at all stages of the project realization, from the moment of making a decision to construct a nuclear facility to its decommissioning. How to manage all this stuff in the different countries with the different categories of personnel? How we do it? To be sure that the implementation of our foreign projects we will have enough qualified specialists. We propose to develop cooperation with the partner countries based on a detailed calculation of the fields in each category of personnel. This slide provides a more rough outline of personnel, training of the nuclear program, of newcomer country in 5 categories: NPP personnel, construction engineering personnel, nuclear infrastructure personnel, personnel for non-energy sector, young specialists and universities, faculty staff. It looks like a map of personnel preparing. We call it Human Resource Development Plan, country plan. Of course, the training of different personnel categories should be synchronized. That is very important here. Look at this map. The beginning of preparing young specialists have to become at the right time when country decided to organize training of personnel for NEPIO, for Organization of Implementation of Nuclear Power and Energy. So this is a crucial important fact. And typically, HRD country plan is developed by a joint working group. The working group includes representatives of all stakeholders: the government, the Atomic Energy Agency, the operator of the future plant, the regulatory body, and of course, representatives of the universities. Country plan is a big picture of activities that are needed for planning, implementation, and further development of the national nuclear program in terms of human capital. And finally, have a look at the results of such kind of international cooperation. Rosatom has extensive experience in cooperation with the partner countries. With the support of Rosatom, about 2,000 foreign students from more than 60 countries of the world currently study at the Russian universities. We offer international students a unique opportunity to have an internship on real nuclear power plant equipment. This is probably the only way for students to get inside into nuclear reactor vessel. Look at the picture where the students, where the group of students stay near the reactor vessel. That is very amazing for me. This is very exciting for me because these students have opportunity to get inside the reactor vessel, to touch this metal surface and do some practical works with this surface. That is really important because our students now often try to work with the screen and prefer to work with the screen. But the opportunity to look behind the screen is very important for them. This is my opinion, maybe we can debate about it. We provide support to our universities in expanding cooperation with foreign universities in order to develop joint academic programs and transfer educational technologies to partner countries. And of course, we consider it is very important to support international educational networking. And finally, Rosatom is ready to offer a number of professional development and upskilling programs for university faculty staff from our partner universities and improve the teacher methodology based on the most up-to-date teaching aids. If you are interested in any options of cooperations, we are ready to assist you in implementation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Valera. Two questions. Obviously, nuclear industry is a very complex and complicated sector of the economy, and with the young generation, with Generation Z in particular, questioning everything, questioning sustainability and the impact each organization has on environment, this is not such an easy, surface for you. So can you tell us a little bit, what is it that Rosatom does or plans to do? How do you engage with youth in terms of either offsetting your impact or maybe proposing the programs that expand the actual vision of Rosatom on sustainability?
Oh yeah, we are trying to do it, but of course the term of sustainability is a little bit new for our educational process. But if we speak about engineering program, we should understand that not only nuclear installation is an object of investigation for engineering students, but of course we need to understand how we can develop programs that can help our students to understand the very long period of exploitation of this equipment. So Pedro said that 15 years, it's a period of preparation for our country program, but more longer period, about 100 years, this is a period of exploitation. And it is very important to explore these equipments and to provide people with appropriate knowledge to exploit this equipment for this long time, safety and sustainability.
So I guess it's going to be also something that we're going to park to the last 3 sessions of today, where we're going to be talking about youth take on sustainability and nuclear energy. And second, very quick question. Antonella has mentioned her alumni network program. Is there something like this on cards for Rosatom? Because my parents are coming from engineering, from construction, bridges, tunnels, roadworks, etc. And I know that these are very, how you say, dynasty sectors. So, grandparents work, parents work, children work. Is something like this on cards for Rosatom? Because I would think, as someone who is not from nuclear engineering or nuclear industry at all, that would be a relatively easy and friendly way to engage with young kids around the world, where your alums, or rather nuclear engineering alums of the universities that collaborate with Rosatom, can become your ambassadors.
Yeah, of course. This is a very important question for us. And right now we develop some projects to cooperate with our foreign graduates from our universities. We strongly believe that to help our universities in supporting alumni clubs, that is very important. And we organize events for graduates of our universities, and we believe that in the future we will continue these activities. And of course, you mean about kids, you mean dynasty question. Yeah, it's very important, because I believe that the parents, this is a reference group for our kids in very, very high priority. So, of course, we work with all of these projects.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. Thank you, Valery. And also, thank you. Talking about the alums, joining us from Moscow will be also a successful alumni who graduated from MEFI Moscow Engineering Physics. How do you say, what's MEFI stands for? Moscow Engineering
Physics Institute.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Vladimir. And who is now the rector of his own university. Now, MIFI is definitely a leading university, and take this from someone who has been working on university ranking for over 15 years. So we can definitely, slides sharing on the past, and let's focus on the future. So what are the projects that MIFI is offering to the nuclear engineering community now? What are the collaboration programs that are due to develop, to evolve in 2022 and beyond? And probably also one of the questions that I would like us to look into is how we integrate MIFI education, which is of course fundamental and theoretical, with the real world applications. Whether, okay, and now I'll keep quiet because I have a question that I'll ask later. I know the answer, but I also want everybody else to know the answer. Vladimir, over to you. 7 minutes start now.
Hello, thank you for invitation, and it's for the opportunity to present the network cooperation case of Nuclear National Research University, MIFI. I'm proud to be the rector of. And so let me start with a few words who we are. We are one of the leading technical universities of the Russian Federation according to various ratings, and keep position in to world rating in physics and astronomy branch in the top 100. And we are proud of our students. We attract, together with just a very few Russian technical universities, one of the best STEM school graduates, secondary school graduates in the country, who are in no way weaker than their peers who start education in the best universities of the world. We are also the leader among Russian universities in terms of number of scientific research collaborations we participate in. You can see some of them listed here on the slide. About 22% of our students are foreign students from about 60 countries, which is also, you can see on this map. Next slide, please. Yeah, so it's worth mentioning that we have 15 regional divisions in Rosatom presence, regions and towns, and 12 among them provide higher education programs. Our history is deeply interconnected with the history of the atomic industry of the Soviet Union and now of the Russian Federation. And our main goal used to be staff training for various nuclear technological applications. Of course, now our directions of education are much wider, but still this is the core of our expertise is nuclear physics and nuclear technology. The next slide, please. We offer more than 60 majors for master, bachelor, and PhD levels in Russian and English. You can see list some of them here on the left. And we have more than 10 dual degree programs with their partner universities, mostly from the former Soviet Union countries. And it's also worth mentioning that we have a branch of our university in the city of Tashkent, the capital of Uzbekistan. Next slide, please. In 2018, we started the network educational programs with our universities from other countries of Rosatom presence. And we think it's a very successful initiative, which is to be developed further. Our lecturers and researchers come to the partner universities to give nuclear specific courses, to participate in their development and modification of educational programs in nuclear technologies. And this is also very good experience of network interaction. Next slide, please. I'd also like to mention the Russian-French Network University, which was founded in 2016. It's a bilateral Russian-French initiative. MIFI is the founding member of this university, and together with 10 other participants of this initiative, the main activity is we provide dual PhD courses on various topics of Russian university and one of their partner French universities. Let me mention the new PhD course between our university and Aix-Marseille University on plasma physics and physics of thermonuclear synthesis, which will start this September this year. Next slide, please. We are the leader of the consortium of Rosatom core universities. You see that about 20 Russian universities are members of this consortium, and we have quite a few willing to join this initiative. There are various activities, and one of the important, which I have to mention, are assistance to both Russian and international students who practice and Rosatom MIFI resource centers in Volgodonsk, Voronezh, Obninsk, and also Moscow. More than 400 national students from all these universities to have this experience each year, increasing their qualifications. Next slide, please. Another network is StarNet, which was founded in 2015. It acts under patronage of the International Atomic Energy Agency. It includes 15 universities from 8 countries. These are former Soviet Union countries and Poland. This is a regional network for education and training in nuclear technology, which has various activities, conferences, schools, joint seminars, student fellowships, competitions, etc., which we're also going to maintain and develop. The next slide, please. It's very important to develop these nuclear activities in joint, in deep cooperation with the international organizations. And I also already mentioned this StarNet story with Atomic Energy Agency, but we also have common projects with Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty organizations, with Vienna International Nuclear Competence Center, and with World Nuclear University and European Nuclear Educational Network. Some activities yet have to be developed, and I think we have a lot yet to be done in this direction. And just to finish, I'd like to, this is a slide from a slightly different, next slide please, different angle. We believe that one of the main main challenge for our both educational and professional story is the integration of physical objects and engineering of physical objects with the engineering of digital environment where this physical object operates. And these both processes has to live in parallel, and the development of educational programs and of training programs, which take this from the very beginning into account, is a very important priority for our modification of our future educational plans, in particular in the networks which I have just mentioned. Thank you very much for your attention. I think I am just in time.
Fantastic. Thank you, Vladimir. I think you're one of the first speakers today to actually have less than 7 minutes. Congratulations on that. Now, your last slide is actually what led me to my question. And I personally have been lucky to visit your campus, to enjoy some of the VR projects and solutions that you are now sharing with your students and faculty members. A question that might apply to organizations outside of Russia, outside of Moscow. Is MIFI working on, I don't know whether it will be like probably not open source, but if, let's say, there is an institution in a country remote from Russia who is also very keen to teach their students nuclear engineering and so on and so forth, would you be able to share your approach to VR and also AR now? And also, how would this institution has to go about to engage with you and with MIFI to take advantage of what you have developed to slightly speed up this 80-year cycle and the 15-year cycle of preparation?
Thank you for your question. I think the general answer is yes, and indeed we have such activities, in particular for all our nuclear installations and also for our nuclear reactor, which just this year, by the way, we will celebrate 55th anniversary of its being operational. We have developed somewhere fully, somewhere in parts, full VR digital twin of this object. So the student can go inside the reactor. He or she can do anything he or she likes to do, even to check the consequences of what happens with the system when you do this or that, which is very important to understand how the system works, to feel it, what are the borders of its stability, of its what is dangerous and what is not, etc., etc. I think the best way to proceed is to use the potential of these networks, which I just mentioned, the networks of consortium of Rosatom, base universities, the StarNet, and other programs which we have under Nuclear Energy Agency and IAEA and other places.
Thank you so much, Vladimir. And also just remind that all the slides will be shared later on, and the contact details of the university representatives to approach will be there as well. Now, moving on from Moscow, slightly further east to Siberia, we're going to have 3 sessions now, which are united by one theme. So it's all about this wonderful inter-university collaboration and cooperation. How exactly educational institutions are working today to provide the students of skills of tomorrow. And I'd like to invite Vera Verkhaturova to join us here live. And let's just check if Dr. Ricotti is online and available. Is he online and with us? Hopefully, yes.
Yes, I'm here.
Yay, wonderful. So Vera will share the stage, hello, with Dr. Ricotti, giving an overview, and then we'll pass to Italy for the details of the project. So it's universities cooperation focused on practice, on application of skills and knowledge, which is the key, obviously, to our relatively high-risky industry sector. Vera, over to you.
Thank you very much, Zoe, and I would like to say thank you to Rosatom for giving us an opportunity to give us an opportunity to be here. So, as Zoe already said, we have a joint presentation with Professor Ricotti today from Milan Polytechnic University, because the issues that will be discussed today in our presentations, they do not have the local character or national character. They are international, and only together we will be succeeded in answering to these challenges. So among the challenges that universities face during the last 10 decades is connected to the thing that there is a serious decrease in the interest of young generations to nuclear educational programs. On the other hand, there is a serious increase in the demand of nuclear industry to the graduates, higher qualified graduates, and the universities now are in between. We have to motivate young professionals to come to the educational programs, and we have to respond to the demand of nuclear industry to give them higher qualified young professionals and to train these young professionals in a very short period of time. So separately, we are not able to respond to this challenge, universities or industry. Even university and industry in one country very often will have the problems to respond to this challenge. And not only together, through the international cooperation, international joint degree programs, international joint certificate programs and projects, we will be able to train young professionals with higher qualified competences and practical competences for the needs of nuclear industry. So, we will present together today with Professor Ricotti the project dedicated to radioactive waste management and the training of young professionals to the needs of this direction within nuclear science and technology. But this direction was chosen just because it is one of the most important directions inside nuclear science and technology. But the projects that we are presenting today and we are piloting now in a cooperation with our European partners, so can be used as an instrument to any field or any direction of nuclear industry, nuclear science and technology. So the model or the basis that we have used in our project is ideal model. And in our project, we are moving through the real model when there is a autonomous training by the universities, industry, in human resources and procedures and equipment. So we are moving to the ideal model when we are sharing all our competences, human resources, facilities and equipment within the project. National universities, national nuclear industry, and international partners. So on this slide, you can see the models that have been used by us from the very beginning to attract nuclear industry in curriculum design, content design, and as you see, the very first question that was given by us to us, employment prospects. What should we do to provide our nuclear industry with higher qualified personnel that will be successfully employed after our training? So, and now some words about the project. So the idea of the project is to use the expertise, the sharing, the competences of national university and national industry in a partnership with international university and international industry to get practical retraining of already young professionals that graduated the universities and now are working or are going to work in nuclear industry, and they need practical training in our case, graphite treatment. So here on the slide, you can see the participation organizations. On this slide, there are the goals and objectives of the project. And so the main objective of the project is to motivate young professionals to be interested in radioactive waste management issues and working in nuclear industry in general. So here on the slide, you can see the examples of the topics that will be given practically to the participants of this project. And now I would like to give the floor to Professor Marco Ricotti, and he will give more details about the content of the project and the input of our European partners to this project. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Vera, Professor Ricotti, you've got 3 minutes. I know it's a challenge to share time slot, but I believe in you.
No, but I would like to share with you, since Vera was very effective in the presentation of the project. You may understand that in Italy, after the two referendum against the nuclear option, we are mainly focused on nuclear decommissioning. So for us, this initiative is very, very important. But let me add in just 1 or 2 minutes, few comments on the topic of today, on the surprising and also promising situation in Italy about nuclear education, and why the collaboration with Rosatom, with the Russian universities, with international organizations like OECD, NIA, and IAEA is so important for us. I'm today chairing the CERTEN consortium. It is the consortium of the 7 Italian universities that they were active since the 50s on nuclear technologies. We are experiencing today a sensible increase of interest and also of enrollment of young people in Master of Science and PhD programs in nuclear engineering. Just to give you an example of the surprising numbers, in Politecnico di Milano, in my universities, in the last 2 years, we have each year, more than 100 new students enrolling in the Master of Science in Nuclear Engineering. That means that our course is one of the largest in Europe. The young people, they are not biased. They are without prejudice towards the nuclear energy, but they are interested really in all the nuclear applications, in small modular reactors, in generation 4 reactors, in space applications, in fusion science and technology, in medical and environmental applications. And for sure, the climate change and the green technologies are now a big booster for their interest. But one of the most important issues is that the students, they are asking for international experience and also for experience in the industry. through courses, through internships, through periods to carry out the thesis work. So this is why our collaboration with the Russian universities is increasing. We have 7 years of experience of collaboration with the St. Petersburg Polytechnic University. In the last years, with the Tomsk Polytechnic University, I hope soon also with MEFI. While with Rosatom, we collaborated in the recent years on nuclear project management education. So this is the reason why I think that this is a very important item for us, not only for us, but also for Europe. And we are living now still in a pandemic situation, so we pushed a lot on virtual education. For sure, it will play an important role also in the post-pandemic, but in-presence education and collaborative experience remain the key, in my personal opinion. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And it's actually great to hear what you say, because from what I hear mainly from the Russian universities is that it's a challenge to retain interest among young people to nuclear education. It's a challenge to retain the same, bums on seats, if you want. So for Politecnico di Milano, having even more than usual students on nuclear engineering programs, I think you'll have to tell us the secret a bit later. But I think one thing you've mentioned is diversity of applications is definitely a message to communicate to all the universities involved in this sector. Thank you very much, Professor Ricotti. And we move from Italy to another partner of Tomsk Polytechnic University in Egypt. And let's see if Professor Mustafa Saleh El-Khalil is online and with us. Thank you, Vera. And the Egyptian-Russian University is joining us maybe later. And we will transfer then to another example.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Yay, wonderful. Can we please have Professor on screen?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone.
Sorry, we can hear you, but unfortunately we can't see you. And yes, there you are. Okay, we've got your slides on screen now. So you've got your 7 minutes for these slides, and let's start now, please. Over to you. Professor El-Khalil, can you hear us?
Okay.
Yeah, please proceed.
I will share you. Okay. The voice is good?
Yes, we can hear you well. We can see your slides.
You can hear me? You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, and we can see the slides. Please proceed with the presentation.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers of this event. Also, thanks a lot for inviting us to participate in the conference. The Egyptian-Russian University, ERU, was founded according to the Presidential Declaration in 2006, based on the Mutual Culture Protocol between Egypt and Russian Federation. It has been established, our university, with the support of 7 Russian institutions. I am going quickly in my presentation to review the aspects of this cooperation.
Professor, may I ask you to go into the presentation mode, because at the moment it's not very neat. You know, your Control F5, if I'm not mistaken, or just F5. Or at the bottom right. Can you go into the presentation mode, please? Okay, that's okay. Let's proceed. Okay. Time is ticking.
Okay. The vision of our program is to be one of the leading higher education institutes on national and regional levels, in addition to transfer the modern trends in nuclear technology for the students through cooperation with well-known institutions in general, and especially with Russian partners. The particular mission of the program is to provide the students with the necessary broad education skills in nuclear technology that make them professional engineers in nuclear power stations. All of these to achieve the following aims: the preparation of cadres and specialists in nuclear field, especially for Al-Dab'a nuclear power plants, as well as preparing cadres capable of working in the field of electricity generation through thermal power plants. Cooperation talks between ERU and the TPU Tomsk University started in March 2015 with a delegation visit from TPU to ERU headquarters. In 2017, a delegation from Rosatom and Maybe University visited our ERU University headquarters to discuss the various aspects of cooperation. The educational system of MPS program is as follows. The study duration is 5.5 years. According to the signed protocol, the students of MPS program implement the first 3 years in Egypt. They studied the main subjects, like, for example, the basic and the nuclear physics, electronics and electrical engineering, thermodynamics and heat transfer, etc. Then they traveled to Tomsk Polytechnic University to spend the last 5 semesters, about 2.5 years, to study reactor engineering, turbomachinery, nuclear power stations, etc. At the end of their study, the graduates get double degree certificate from ERU and Tomsk University. Currently, 29 of our students are studying at Tomsk University, as well as 19 have been graduated. Thus, the total number of students who joined Tomsk University is 48 students. It's worth mentioning that 20 of our students have received a scholarship from Rosatom. At the end, the NPS program are looking forward for more fruitful cooperation with Tomsk Polytechnic University and Rosatom, especially in training, offering scholarships and participation in TPU and Rosatom events. That's all I have. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Professor. Thank you, Professor El Khalil. And also, some of you might know that today is not just the beginning of Rosatom Week at EXPO, but today is also the beginning of the Sustainability Week at EXPO 2020. Now, does anybody know what happened at the end of 2020, the actual 2020 year? Anyone in the room knows what? Well, yes, that as well, but no, where I'm leading at is, and we can probably switch to the presentation background overall and to the next speaker, is that by the end of 2020, it's been announced that the human-produced mass on Earth has outweighed the biomass. So the human-produced construction, waste, and everything else produced by human beings, including objects made of concrete, steel, timber, everything else, has outweighed the biomass of our planet. And it doesn't look like by 2030 or 2050, we're going to reach this balance again. So now it's all about using what we have left in the most conscious and responsible manner. And with this, I'd like us to see if we have our colleagues from the Moscow State University with us. I know we've got someone in the room. And could you please identify yourself, the Moscow State University? Wonderful. So in case the colleagues don't come up, and do we have Stepan? Do we have Dr.
I'm
Professor
here,
Kolmikov?
Zoya. I'm here.
Okay, great. So
Here
a
online.
second
If you
later,
hear me.
hopefully we'll see you as well as here. So I admire the title of your program, because decommission nuclear facilities, it's not just, you know, a hot topic online. It's actually the name of the master's program, the new master's program introduced by the Moscow State University and Imperial College London. Now, if we can please have slides on the screen, that would help us tremendously. Otherwise, let me just check. Dr. Odjovan, are you with us as well? Okay, we've got still Professor Mustafa. No, that's...
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, both of you are here. Wonderful.
Otherwise, I'm here.
So you've got a challenge of sharing 7 minutes between the two of you gentlemen. I have all faith you'll be able to succeed, but also yes, we've got the emails here, because I already had a couple of PhD students from the UK asking if they get in touch to learn more about this particular program. Okay, over to you.
Thank you very much, Zoya, for the introduction, and it's my great pleasure as the Dean of the Chemistry Department of Lomonosov Moscow State University to make a short presentation on the joint academic programs in Moscow State University dealing with the decommissioning. So I start with a very basic thing. So probably most of you know that Moscow State University is one of the the largest and the oldest. So we are at the point of celebrating 270 anniversary in the next several years, and the university was established 1755, and we have 40,000 plus students that are split into 15 different departments. So some of them are really large and, let's say, classical departments like chemistry, physics, biology, and I'm representing chemistry. So the chemistry department is also split into 18 divisions, and among these 18 divisions, we have 16 divisions that are research divisions. So all the students that go to study chemistry in Moscow State University, they start to do their scientific work starting with the first year. And within the chemistry department, we have the division of radiochemistry that is about 90 employees. That is quite a large facility. And the good thing is that we have the license to work with actual radioactive closed, sealed, and open sources, means with the solutions, etc. And the license is quite broad, so we can do many different research and development things with actinides, with fission products, and the students that are doing their course papers and diploma works and radiochemistry, they can work with actual radioactive samples. That is very important. So the program on decommissioning that was developed several years ago and that we would like to introduce for the international community is very actual, because, you know, this is just the basic numbers that we have here, is that only 35% of the projects are considered as successful projects in terms of the decommissioning. About 65% of the project do not meet with the primary criteria. And one of the major challenges that in Russia that we are faced is that we have the managers that are responsible for the large-scale decommissioning programs in the country and abroad. And we have engineers and technical workers who are doing the technical part of the job. And the problem is that there is the large gap between their knowledges, between even their languages, how they speak. So normally engineers cannot understand the manager's language and vice versa. So, and one of the ideas in the development of the master program that is called Project Management in the field of decommissioning of nuclear facilities, including radioactive waste management, is to try to give both competence in the project management and in the technical aspects of the decommissioning, means in radiochemistry, in basic chemistry, environmental chemistry, many other things. And it was supported, this idea was supported by Rosatom. As a result, we established the network. Each member of the network, and as you can see here, it's international network, is responsible for different things. So we have the basic courses, radiochemistry, and many others. We have the managerial competence here. We signed the agreement with IDOM, that is a Spanish company that gives us the managerial competence, together with the lectures and seminars from other departments of Lomonosov Moscow State University. Then we have methods of work execution that is provided by Rosatom, and especially with Intl company, that is the company within the Rosatom that is responsible for fuel, and this is the company that is responsible for the decommissioning at the international level, and certainly Imperial College of London, who is the member of this consortium. And then we have the structure of nuclear facilities, and you can see the topics that are listed here. Also, this is Rosatom. Again, this is Intl company, and this is Imperial College of London. And by this, I would like to give the floor to Mikhail Javan, who is the representative of Imperial College of London and expert of IAEA. Mikhail, please.
So can you put the next slides, Professor Kalmukov, please?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you. So greetings to everyone. A couple of words to support things that just were introduced by Professor Kalmukov. So a couple of words about Imperial. So we Imperial, it's ranked by the World University ranking as 7th in the world, and in Europe we are the 3rd. And we naturally have a large basis of instrumental analysis and research activity, and also we do joint works together with the International Atomic Energy Agency in the field of educational programs. So Imperial pays a lot of attention to the nuclear industry, and in the Imperial, the independent, impartial, and trusted source of information in everything which is nuclear. It is in a dedicated center for nuclear engineering, and this is a large organization which has the Center for Doctoral Training, so pays a lot of attention for the educational activities, and coordinates 3 Master of Science in Engineering with nuclear degrees, so in chemical and nuclear engineering, materials and nuclear engineering, and mechanical and nuclear engineering. And we hold projects. We are involved in projects which worth over 40 million pounds, and looking to the future to meet the demands of global programs, including the nuclear waste management and decommissioning. The Center for Nuclear Engineering was initially set by Professor Robin Grimes, and then the director was Professor Bill Dee. And can you please change to the next slide? Yes, thank you. You can see here in the lower right corner of this slide the manual, the book, the 3rd edition of the Introduction to Nuclear Waste Immobilization that we jointly with Professor Kalmukov and Professor Bill Lee published, which is a source of information for nuclear waste management, and also a training, a handbook for the students, PhD students. And the message from this slide it is that we are using a diverse platform in order to attract the young generation, the researchers, to participate, to be involved in the nuclear. And you see here in the upper corner, right corner of the slides, the page from interview that Professor Kalmukov gave in the popular journal Chemistry and Life. Basically, it's for the young generation. In the middle, you can see just announced special issue of the journal, Open Access Journal Sustainability, that we just launched together with Alexander Bychkov, who was the Deputy Director of International Atomic Energy Agency, the Director of the Department of Nuclear Energy. And we invite here the researchers to submit their results of their research in this special issue, so to share it. So the message of this slide is that we are using diverse platform in order to attract attention to the nuclear sector. So with this, I think that we are concluding with Professor Kalmukov, and maybe he wants to say anything else at the end. Thank you.
I'd just like to add that in Moscow State University, we have the agreement that was signed, let's say about, I think, 10 years ago now with the IAEA, and we have a lot of different joint educational activities in Moscow State University and radiochemistry departments on, this is the different summer schools, expert visits, and many other things. So we have a large experience in accepting foreigners at different levels, both professors and students. So
thank you very much, professors. Thank you, Professor Kalmukov, and thank you, Professor Odjivan. And once again, Andrei Putyatin and Vladimir Petrov are here from the Moscow State University. So if you have any questions about this program or any other activities MSU has in the nuclear energy sector, please chase this gentleman over there. Thank you, colleagues. And with this, we move to Belarus. And our connection should be live and running. We welcome Lilia Dulinets, Deputy Director of the Nuclear Energy Department at the Ministry of Energy. Lilia, can you hear us? Yes, wonderful. Hello and welcome. And we can see your screen. May I please ask for a favor? Can you please go into the demo version in the presentation mode? It's at the bottom of your screen to your right. В режим презентации, если можно, перейдите, пожалуйста.
Так.
Вот внизу справа примечание и направо раз, два, третья иконка после примечаний. Или даже...
Так, у меня нету ничего.
I don't seem to have this on the right. You don't see my screen? Well, we do see the screen, but we see everything, and we would only like to see these slides.
Apologies. Well, we'll stick to this image and then we'll proceed with the PDF of the slides going forward. Lilia, over to you. Please share your experience on human resources development and case studies of Belarus. The floor is yours.
So thank you. Good afternoon, dear participants, dear colleagues. And first of all, thanks for this opportunity to present human resources development area in Belarusian nuclear power program. First, I want to share with you some general information about a current status of Belarusian nuclear power program. The Republic of Belarus, together with the Russian Federation, are implementing nuclear power project. I mean Belarusian nuclear power plant construction. And according to the general contract, this project consists 2 units with total capacity of 2,400 megawatts. And last year, the unit 1 was put into commercial operation. The reactor power startup of the unit 1 took place in November 2020. And since that time, it was generated more than 6.5 billion kilowatt hours of electricity. Recently, in December last year, it was physical startup of the Unit 2, and our contractor is planning to put the Unit 2 into commercial operation this year. When the Republic of Belarus decided to construct the first nuclear power plant, Ministry of Energy, together with the Ministry of Education and other organizations involved in the project, created state program of personnel training for nuclear power program. This state program includes studying in Belarusian universities, special training in the universities in the Russia Federation, preparing highly qualified specialists, scientists, and training of operational personnel of the Belarusian NPP at the training center.
Lilia, I'm very sorry. I think the slides are not going through. Can you do me a favor? Can you click Alt F5 at the same time and go to the slide that you're talking at the moment? Try on your computer, click Alt F5. Nope, it doesn't do the trick. Okay, then can you scroll to the slide that you're talking about? I think you'll have to do it manually. Unfortunately, we still see the first slide.
Only first slide?
That's okay. You can talk us through your content, and we will share the materials with everybody else after the session, okay?
Okay. Okay. In the frame of this state program, a new specialization was opened in Belarusian universities. And on this slide, these universities and the name of specialization you can see. During IAEA expert mission, IAEA experts define creation of this state program as a good practice So at present, about 500 students study in Belarusian universities, and thanks to this state program, from 2013 to 2020, more than 800 specialists were prepared, young specialists were prepared. 80 specialists of the Belarusian NPP have been retrained in the Russia Federation in Obninsk Institute of Atomic Energy and Ivanovo State Energy University. Also, under the state program, education and research infrastructure of the universities has been modernized. In this process, of course, we used IAEA guides, recommendation, and experience of the Russia Federation. So this slide is about Belarusian NPP staff recruitment. Totally, NPP staff is about 2,500 employees. Operating personnel were hiring from Belarusian specialists with experience in thermal power electric station and from foreign specialists with experience in nuclear power plants in Russia Federation, in Ukraine. For example, chief engineer of BelNPP, deputy of chief engineer, head of the reactor shop are foreign specialists. And of course, young specialists. And nowadays, more than 400 specialists work at the Belarusian NPP, and they were prepared under this state program. So very important steps in human resources development area was creation of Belarusian nuclear power plant training center. We started construction of this center in 2014, and since 2016, when this training center was opened, NPP staff trained based on this training center. We hosted many delegations from different countries and showed this center and full scope simulator. And we are ready to share our experience in personnel training and in generally in human resources development for nuclear power program with you or with all who are interested in. So, thank you, and sorry if you didn't see my presentation, but I hope you will.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lily. We'll share the slides so everybody who is interested will be able to review and then get in touch. Thank you so much. And now we're moving back to Dubai. So we've got Anastasia Minina, Vice Rector of LETI, Electrotechnical University in St. Petersburg. We are running out of time, so let's, again, let's focus. One of the things that you highlighted in the slides, and I mean, I know that LETI is at the forefront of technical education, so let's share this a little bit, but also if you could tell a little bit more about how you engage and involve online means of delivery, including not just the classical in-class or delivered by your faculty members, but using Coursera content as a part of your programs, okay?
Okay.
Thank you so much, Anastasia, over to you.
Okay. Thank you very much, organization. Thank you very much, dear participant, for your audience. Yes, I'll try very briefly speak about how we attract talents to our university and what we do for it, and how we systematically work with our networking programs and what we do for it as well. But first of all, I would like to tell you just a few words about our university. Yes, we are the oldest electrotechnical university in Europe, and last year we celebrated 135th anniversary of our university. And as I say, our internationalization starts from Carl Siemens. He was the first investor of our university, and since then we cooperate with international universities, international partners, and do our best in order to cooperate with different kind of organization, because without cooperation with industry and academic partners, it's impossible to build new projects. So I would like to focus on what we do, and in educational pipeline, I will start from short-term programs. They are also networking programs, and we have different kind of examples of such kind of organization. We are very flexible, and this flexibility attracts students to our university. And this example show that, for example, one program is just 9 days, and the other is 9 months. And our partner university, it's University Michael Dukakis Leadership Institute. They give diploma to our students, master degree diploma, despite this just a short-term program. Also, we organize different kind of session and schools for our customers on our base and on the base of the customer. Then I continue. It's a bachelor degree, and how we organize network organization with our international partners. We work 3 years or 4 years in online format, and it's quite important that our participation at this program should be more than 50%. And after that, everything is possible. We can organize a special online connection to a very difficult equipment, and moreover, we also use courses on Coursera. As Zoya told, yes, we are their partners and organize such kind of together work. And here is example of our cooperation with Chinese university, and this year we are open Together Institute. Last week I protect this institute, and we will organize such kind of network program as well. So the next scheme and the model of a network organization is online project, online master degree program. We open first Russian university who opened online master degree program at 2020, and this is the scheme of organization. You can see that in the middle is the project, and the project given by our industry, our partners who are doing it, and then we share competence with our colleagues from Russian universities and foreign universities, and organized also. This program was completely online modules as our modules, and also modules which are on Coursera or on other open sources resources. You can see the real project, and automotive service robots is our program, and PromoBot is our industrial partner in this case. The other scheme and the model of system organization of network projects is a master degree program in English. We also do it in a special way, so each our master degree program in English have a second degree level. You can get another degree in our partner university and get a second diploma. As well, we visit foreign professors, as in online format as well, and offline format. And certainly industry and connection to equipment which we use on this project. And you can see the list of the project, and as I say, we are very flexible, so we can develop any project by your needs. So here I show the real project which we realized, it's automated and mechatronics. You can see and go in deep details. Also computer science and knowledge. For example, you see our partners with whom we organize such kind of net programs and with whom we do double degree. And for example, or wind energy or energy electric power as well, one of our examples. Thank you for your attention. Try to be very briefly.
Fantastic. That was very speedy. Quick question, if I may. I know Leti is famous for the internships. Do you run most of them in Russia, or do you have any internship, any international internships that your students can participate in?
As I show in my example, we have all our master degree program in English have such kind of modules of mobility in which our students go abroad and have such practice in our partner universities. It's our rules.
Partner universities, that's for study modules.
It's for study, and we have internship in companies, foreign companies and Russian companies as well. We work with Siemens, for example, and they go in Germany and have a special practice there.
Wonderful. And then just one quick question, if I may, especially for the English language programs, are they blended, meaning online with on-campus studies? Or if, for example, the student is located in a red list country and can't travel, can he or she join and study purely online?
Yes, he can. He or she can. It's possible.
Amazing. I want your slides then. Okay. Thank you so much.
You can take my slide. Thank you.
Now, we've mentioned the main stakeholders, right? The students, youth. And today we are lucky to have 3 different representatives of organizations who are engaging directly with young people, the ones who actually understand the values, understand the mottos, how we can bring young people on board, how we can engage with them. And Oleg is joining us. Are you in Hungary or are you located in Moscow at the moment?
Currently, I'm in Prague, but our
there.
regional office in Hungary, so practically right.
Okay. Well, Oleg Spayalov is the PR manager for Rosatom Central Europe. That's why I mixed with Hungary. And he'll give us a quick overview of the hackathon experience and similar project that Rosatom conducts in his region. So maybe we'll see some implications also globally. Oleg, over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Do you see my? Oh, great. I can see that you can see my screen. So many thanks to organizers for the opportunity to participate in this roundtable. So my name is Oleg Spayalov, and I'm a communication manager in Rosatom Central Europe. So we are part of Rosatom International Network, the company which is responsible for a wide range of international activities, starting from business development to communication. So today we're going to speak about communications. And today we heard a lot of different and very important things. And now I'll briefly share our experience that we have. So first of all, I want to remind you that literally 2 years ago, our life slightly changed. So now it's the reason why we are speaking through the monitor using the different online tools. So my question to the audience, what do you think about online education? So we've got enough time to estimate the pros and cons of this online. So please, if you want, you can share your answer in the chat box. So for me, as a person who works in communication, at the beginning, I was very skeptical about all these online things. But after a while, everything turned out not to be so bad. So within the pandemic, we had a clear task not to lose the connections between universities that we established and probably build the new ones. So, and we were thinking about the education in general. So yeah, okay, transfer knowledge is very important. The knowledge itself is very important, but also for the young specialists, for the young students, the inspiration at the beginning of the way to nuclear industry is much more important. So we started to think about the formats, where to get this inspiration. So we actually were ourselves inspired by IT sector. and we came up with the idea of hackathon. So actually, hackathon is the way to transfer the knowledge, and in IT sector, it works very well. And when a number of teams are working on solving the problem, and this problem can be solved in the very different ways. So we decided to organize the nuclear hackathon. So we did it with our Rosatom partner universities, and we did it in Hungary and Bulgaria, and several more are planned. So last year we had a conversation with Professor Ricotti, and I hope this year we will organize such hackathons with Milano Polytechnical University. So actually the structure of hackathon is very simple. The first day is dedicated to lectures. The professors give the lectures on different topics related to nuclear technologies, then assign the tasks. Teams have only 24 hours for solving the problem, and on the next day, they just make the presentations, and the jury estimates the solutions and determines the winner. So when we started to do it, at the beginning, we were not 100% sure about the results, but our experience showed that the students were very inspired to do this, and they showed creativity and very good result. So, for example, one of the prize within the Hungarian hackathon was the visit on the PAKS site, which now is expanding. So we had a chance to get the personal feedback from them, and they told us that we need to proceed and scale such competitions. So, and then we thought when we will return to normal life, it's necessary to organize offline using all possible instruments for this. And you can see last year, it's hackathon in Bulgaria. It's the participant from Kozloduy. Here it is the hackathon in Hungary. By the way, in Hungary, 100 participants took part in this competition. And to be short and conclude my speech, I would say that working with the young generation, with the young specialists, and I'm still, by the way, in this category on the border, and I feel absolutely unique and interesting people gathering around nuclear technologies. And only one thing that the industry needs to do is the spark, inspire them. And thank you very much for your attention. And I'm sure now is the best time to implement such projects using all possible formats. So if you have any questions, please ask me, I open. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Oleg. And I don't know if there are any questions from the floor regarding hackathon. No? I've got a question. I totally agree with you that the best way to engage is to bring the curiosity, bring up the curiosity and let them touch it with their own hands. Do you have plans, and I know that you're mainly looking into the Central Europe, but do you have plans to expand similar projects into, say, Africa, Latin America, Southeast Asia? Because if you do, I'd be more than happy to collaborate with developing something similar in these regions as well.
So for us, first thing is important to make, the lessons learned from all hackathons which we organized. Now we are ready to scale this competition. And now, as far as I know, last year it was hackathon in Latin America, and it was very good. And we hope to make it, more international, because now it's organized between two countries, Russia and the other countries, our partner country. Maybe it should be, scaled between other countries. And yes, we have a plan to do it. This year, we'll definitely organize hackathon in Hungary and Bulgaria, and Milano Polytechnical University, of course. And maybe we can discuss it to scale it, because for this task, we need the support of international organizations, of course.
Great, thank you so much. And I think provided the situation we're in at the moment with pandemic, hackathon is definitely the way forward to generate wonderful pipeline of talents. Thank you, Oleg. And on this note, we're moving to Lena Andriolo, president of International Youth Nuclear Congress. Now, talking about young people once again, we know Generation Z has values and priorities very different to the ones that previous generations had. And what Lena does is running a monitoring of youth perception of different topics, including nuclear industry overall. Lena, over to you.
All right, so good afternoon, everyone. Would it be possible to share my slides on the screen? All right, perfect. Thank you very much. So my name is Lena Andriolo. Professionally, I'm an R&D project manager for radioactive waste management at EDF in France. But today I'm here as the president of the International Youth Nuclear Congress, or IYNC in short. And it's really my absolute pleasure to be here with you today to discuss international cooperation, fostering engineering education and career development in the nuclear industry. And I would like to thank the organizers for inviting IYNC to these sessions. Now, to address today's topic, I think that we can first ask ourselves why international collaborations matter in this specific area. And I personally think that every area can benefit from international cooperations because we always can learn a lot from each other. But in the nuclear area, this is even more true and important, as we also heard before. Because whatever happens in one side of the world in the nuclear field will have an impact on the nuclear community as a whole. So this means that we need to ensure we have a qualified workforce, which is able to build and operate safely complex systems such as nuclear reactors. And for this, you need knowledge transfer and best practice sharings at a global scale. For example, by sharing knowledge from experienced nuclear countries to newcomer countries. And this is why you have organizations like the IAEA or WARNO that were created, or why you have so many international conferences for people to share their most recent works. And because we operate those systems over several decades, and because it takes time to acquire the necessary competences, as we have seen in previous presentations, and also because nuclear is an essential component to achieving a sustainable world, we have to make sure that we have a qualified workforce, not only today, but also in the future. Which means that we need to be able to continuously attract, develop, and retain talented young people from all around the world by providing them with professional development opportunities. And today I'm here to discuss with you what young people are doing in this regard, and more specifically, what role youth networks, such as the IYNC, play in this. Now, IYNC is a global network of young nuclear professionals that supports knowledge transfer between generations and across international boundaries. It also promotes the peaceful use of nuclear science and technology and communicates the benefits of nuclear power as part of a low-carbon energy mix. Our network currently extends across 46 countries, where we work with our national representatives and existing young generation networks, the so-called YGNs, such as the Russian or the UAE one, for example. So you can basically see us as a network of networks. We have several activities, which you can see listed on the slide. Our major one is our biennial conference, but we also have activities related to climate change, for example, and are actively participating in conferences. We count several partner organizations, such as the IAEA, Thomas Thaw Associates, or Win Global, to cite only those, because we recognize that we can complement each other in promoting the safe use of nuclear science and applications, and can work together in the area of knowledge transfer. Now, as you can see, collaborations and best practice sharings are at the heart of IYNC. Okay, so now let's see together what the young generation networks that I was talking about actually are. So if we can move to the next slide, please. So young generation networks, or YGNs, are a group of young professionals and students in a given country that are interested in nuclear science and technology. And their activities are often similar to what IYNC does. They provide, for example, topical lectures, training, mentoring, or networking opportunities. They actually help to attract young professionals into the nuclear fields, as they highlight the role and opportunities we have, for example, by going to science fairs, and they help to develop and retain young professionals by providing them a unique opportunity to develop themselves by acquiring, for example, project management skills, leadership skills, or communication skills. And at the IYNC, we support the creation of new young generation networks by sharing the experience and best practices we gain with other YGNs. Now, for organizations that are attending YGN events and being in contact with them is actually an opportunity to anticipate the needs and expectations of the next generation in nuclear and to hire the best candidates. Because understanding the needs of the young generation, especially as we are more and more going towards a startup environment, is key when it comes to ensuring that the field stays attractive and that you have continuously a highly skilled workforce. And here the young generation networks can support. If we can go to the next slide, please. We recently launched a new project at the IYNC called the World Young Generation in Nuclear Thermometer with exactly this idea, understanding what inspires or refrains the youth of today at a global scale to join the nuclear field. This project relies on 13 teams all over the world and is composed of a series of dynamic surveys that you will soon be able to complete. The results of all of these surveys will be compiled in a report that will be made available to the nuclear industry at large and will be periodically updated in order to ensure that the IYNC, the YGNs, and the nuclear industry at large can actually implement policies and long-term strategies based on evolving youth necessities. If you can go to the next slide, please. So another great example of international cooperations that are fostering professional development we have at the IYNC is the IYNC conference. Now, as you can see on the slide, we have been holding IYNC conferences in every region of the world, ensuring that we have knowledge transfer at international levels and between generations. The IYNC conferences are organized with the YGN of the country it takes place in. If you go to the next slide, please. So our next conference is therefore organized with the Rosatom Youth Council and the Russian Young Generation, as it will take place in 2022 in Sochi in Russia, under the theme You Are the Core, with a human-centric approach to the nuclear technology. Our technical program is based on 4 pillars. We have technical tracks, interactive workshops, plenary and panel sessions, and we also have a mentoring program for young professionals, which allows to have professional development and one-to-one discussions with senior professionals and industry leaders. We will also have a nest session for young talents, as was mentioned by Antonella in her presentation. And overall, the IYNC 2022 event provides a unique opportunity for us to offer a platform for knowledge transfer and best practice sharing at a global scale, with youth and more experienced generations from all around the world coming together. And I hope that we will all be able to see each other there. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Lena. And for everyone who wants to have access to the reports and observations, please note down the website, iyNC.org. And Lena, just one question. Am I remember correctly, you used to have a newsletter. Is it still live?
We do have a newsletter, but it's currently under reconstruction, I would say. Yeah, it's still live, but will be rearranged.
Okay. So the best way to stay tuned and informed of what's happening with youth around the world when it comes down to the attitudes towards nuclear sector. Thank you very much, Lena. And we are coming back to our audience with our last but not least speaker, Alexander Kormishin, joining us as the project manager of Rosatom Corporate Academy. Alexander will share how Rosatom resolves the public diplomacy challenges with the solutions related to talent and youth engagement. Over to you.
Yes, thank you very much. I will not be boring. I will try to be as interactive as possible and to try to bring you all back to the whole, right? And thank you very much for being with us today. And I'm thrilled to interact with you and tell you more about what Rosatom is doing in terms of youth solutions, actually, something that we are doing with young people. And I will tell you something that you didn't hear before, especially today. So you heard a lot about educational opportunities. Before that, you heard about human centricity and other projects that might be applicable to young people. But I would like to tell you something that we started a long time ago. This is an amazing initiative which is called Impact Team 2015. We decided that probably it's time to work more actively with young people in terms of what they want and how active they want to be. So we interact with young people in the way that, in the language that they understand. I would like to tell you a short story about COP26. This is the conference that was not a few months ago in November in Glasgow, where young people I'd say, defended young nuclear professionals, defended their right to be visible, to be recognized, and they talked to different senior leadership from government, from companies, and they persuaded lots of decision makers that nuclear is important and it has to be at the table. And I say what? They were covered in media, they were heard, and they had several events, including our Russian pavilion. So it was an amazing impact that they've been driving. And in December, on the 1st of December, at the Global Impact Conference, we launched something that I'd say that probably a state-of-art thing, a state-of-art initiative, which is the Impact Team 2050. On one part, it's going to be an initiative that will be supporting the Director General in terms of his long-term strategy in the sector globally, because Rosatom is a global corporation, and to include more of young people's perspective into the global positioning and to, I'd say, sustainable transformation of the world. On the other side, it's going to be about youth channels to support youth-driven initiatives around the globe. It means that probably, so everybody understands that nuclear has been trying to make a transition to clean energy, to say a huge goodbye and never come back to its let's say, story that everybody knows. And young people understand it as nobody else, because today young people are more of like climate oriented. They think about the future, and they understand the potential of atom energy for our climate agenda, first of all. And lots of them are pretty expert level, so they do businesses, they do lots of initiatives, and we decided that probably there is a space for Rosatom to support those around the globe, to impact the communities, to provide them with opportunity to change the world. Something that everybody, I'd say, in the audience wanted to do in the childhood. So this is something I wanted to entertain you with a little bit, to inform you, because this is something that we just started a few months ago, and we'll be having amazing 2 events this year already. And I would just wanted to intrigue you with this project without showing you amazing videos that we have on the website. So please, if you are interested, just go to the website Impact Team 2050 to learn more about the project. One more thing, just in a minute I have, I would like to tell you more about young people needs for today. So we talked about education. From what I can tell, and from my experience, because I graduated a long time ago, just a few years, and understood that something that young people need is active participation. They have to be engaged. They want to be engaged. Many of young people are already expert level, so they understand that they are delivering. They are participating at UN Assembly, they are participating in different conferences of international organizations, so at pretty expert level. And I'd say that they want to be at the stage, they want to talk, they want to interact, and they want to drive. So it's probably the time to trust young people, to engage them into the businesses and processes. This is something that we'll be doing this year already. So we had COP, and Russia will be welcoming the World Energy Congress next year, this year already, 2022. And we'll be happily engaging young people also in the overall activities. And we have a major and very interactive group that will be working with their peers from around the globe and delivering the agenda. And to tell you what, they already have different plans, and they are shaping the program by their own. And this is something that we are practicing and will be doing as part of the other project, which is the Nuclear Climate Alliance. And we believe that we should provide more space for young people to do this thing. And we will be doing it. And if anybody from the audience or watching us online would like to join these activities, like Global Youth, you're very welcome, because we've just, I'd say, started, and we are building capacity. And we're ready to provide for the floor, and we're ready to work together. So thank you very much, and I'm passing the floor to Zoe, and I wish you all a very happy evening today.
Thank you very much, Alexander. And actually, to your point about engagement, let me see.
Sorry.
Absolutely agree, but also one suggestion to think, and I know quite often Russian universities and universities in emerging countries quite often overlook, is volunteering. So this is something that Rosatom actually has a potential to lead, create a library of international volunteering opportunities that young people, students, alums, or generally curious activists can engage with and have a library of the project that each one of them can join either individually or as a team. I'm happy to chat about this
definitely.
later.
Yeah, just a short remark on that, because Rosatom is incredibly active in terms of volunteering. Probably you're aware that there's been a campaign, We Are Together.
I love the songs.
Yeah, in the COVID pandemic, where young professionals from Rosatom also facilitated lots of people across the country. And Rosatom was one of the leaders in this. So I'd say that Russian universities are also trying to engage in the volunteering too. It's a trend, and we are also ready to facilitate it too.
Well, as someone who runs an international charity, I can say that Russian universities are at the beginning of the path. So let's work with them together to make sure that Russian students and young professionals have the same opportunities to try and invest their time in something meaningful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, we're almost there. We're almost there. Apologies for overrunning for a little bit. I'd like to introduce Vera Upirova, who will be talking on behalf of the project office, right? How exactly introduce project office for educational projects?
So
right?
I represent the project office on international education. So, and actually, on behalf of Rosatom, I would like to thank all the participants, all the distinguished speakers, all the guests. Thank you very much for your great job today. Because you showed us very interesting cases, you showed us brilliant ideas. And today, during the Human Centricity Day, we have raised very important issues like how to unleash the talents, how to produce the sustainable talent pipeline to the industry, how to foster the engineering education quality. And the young generation is really different. They have different views, different values, different needs. And here now, this challenge of tomorrow makes us find new solutions right now. And this is why we are producing new formats like joint academic programs that are practically oriented, international internships, VR laboratories, and other very interesting activities for the students. And actually, in these regards, university and business collaboration is very, very important. And thank you very much for being here. And we really hope that this session will start new partnerships with universities, with business organizations, and we are here with you. Here is my contact details. We are at your disposal, and actually we hope that afterwards, after the session, we will be able to continue the networking. Thank you very much again. Thank you.
I just say, sorry, only one word. Thanks a lot. All our participants, and very fantastic day. Thanks a lot, Zoya Zaitseva, for your brilliant moderates, because we could, you open for us very, very important topics. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tatiana, and thank you everyone for your patience, for bearing with us. I hope you had quite a few exciting ideas. Now, we had one question asked online, whether there are career opportunities for recent graduates within Rosatom in the sectors which are not necessarily engineering related. The general answer is yes. Get in touch either with Vera, there was an email, or with or with other colleagues, which contacts will be shared also through our social media channels. Please engage. Nuclear industry is changing. It's diversifying, it's touching lives of everybody around the world, and if you want to be a part of the change, you're more than welcome to interrogate, research, and join. And on this note, I'd like to invite the last survivors of this session to join us for teas over there, and then over here in this room, we're going to have a short video of Beloyarsk nuclear station, and then there will be some other individual activities, so please stay tuned or find anybody from Rosatom team. I'm pointing at Vera because she knows everything. Thank you very much.
We breathe energy.
Cause even God has soul has an amazing